Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs, go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started. What's going on? Facebook Live, YouTube, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Randall, how are you?
I'm good, Mr. Schiller. How are you doing?
I'm having some TV difficulties over here.
Yeah,
Just trying to be all smooth and have something playing in the background, you know, like Jimmy does, and it's just not working. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's working now. But good stuff, man. We got the champion himself, the one and only Ron Champion in the house tonight. We're going to talk a little high school kayak fishing. Cool, exciting stuff happening. Ron's kind of been heading that up down there in Georgia, and super cool to see him getting the young kids involved in the wonderful sport of kayak fishing. He's going to Hobie Worlds. I mean, what else is this guy not doing? Just because he's out there crushing it. But you got anything, Jay? Anything we should talk about before we get the man in here?
Not unless you want to talk about tech problems on my side. I think Ron will be a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping they supposedly fixed my internet today, so hopefully we got no glitches. So far so good. I've been home since like 3:00 and was on a Zoom call. I was in surfing the web, doing some other things. So
yeah, a couple more.
No issues tonight.
A couple more antennas on top of that house.
Yeah, you know, I got the aluminum foil strung out across the yard. You know, so we're doing good. We're doing good.
Know, if it works, it works.
Right on. Well, let's come in here, Ron Champion, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, brother.
Well, hello, gentlemen. How are y'all?
What is up?
Oh, it's trying to get ready to hit the road. Well, I guess, can you say hit the road, hit the air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's air and road, because you were just telling us you got like a 5-hour drive after you land out there.
Yeah. We're flying out of Savannah into JFK Airport, and then we'll fly from JFK over to Stockholm. And then we've rented a car, and I've got a 5-hour drive from Stockholm over to a mall. That's the Hobie Worlds. Hobie Worlds Hobie Worlds 9. That's the official host town, Amal, Sweden. So nice. It's gonna be kind of cool, you know. There's only a couple direct flights, you know, from the U.S. Into Sweden and Stockholm. You know, it was a direct flight, and that's kind of what we wanted. So there's 6 of us that are actually making that flight. Me and my wife, Jordan Marshall, Christine Fisher, Ryan Lambert, and his girlfriend, Cam. So we'll all be on the same flight going over. Might get a little rowdy before everybody falls asleep.
The Stockholm police may be waiting for you guys at the airport. Send bail money now.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry. I don't think you got to worry about me, but that Jordan Marshall guy, you might have.
Yeah, he can get a little rowdy.
Yeah, we might have to pass the hat around for him and Lambert.
Oh, that's cool, man. No, it's exciting to see that happen again, because it's been on hold for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, man. I think it was 2019 was the last one, and that was in Australia. I was at that one as well. So, and it was an amazing event. So yeah, COVID kept delaying it. It's exciting to have it back. You know, it's such an amazing tournament. You know, Hobie does such an awesome job with that event, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of what, you know, it's what everybody just, you know, you're trying to qualify to get there. It's such a special time, and anytime you get a chance to represent your country, it's just a big deal. So I think there's 42 competitors from around the world that's going to be there, and so it'll be a good long trip. We come back. We fly back out on the 15th, and we leave Saturday on the 6th to start the journey. It's 5,000 miles for us to get there. I know some other people it's a little bit, might even be a little further, but it's going to be a good time, man. We got a good, strong team going, so it'll be it's going to be fun.
Nice. And this is your third or fourth Hobie World?
This is my third Worlds. I went to Hobie World 6. It was in Leeville, Louisiana. I didn't make 7. It was in Sweden. Then I made 8 in the mall. I mean, in Australia, and then this one, and I've already qualified for 10 for next year. So
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. You know, it's very, very fortunate, blessed to get a chance to do this many of them, because it is such a special event. Once you do one, you want to do another one. I mean, it really is that awesome. You know, it's just the fellowship, the camaraderie that goes on with the events, the dinners that they have. Steve Fields does such an awesome job with the tournament and how it's run. I've been fortunate. I've made a lot of friends from all over the world through this organization, and it's just good time to catch back up with these guys that you might only see. I mean, I've been lucky. I've been, like I said, this will be my third one, but there's guys that you meet these guys, and it might be the only time you ever really get to fish with them, against them, whatever you want to do. But it's a fellowship and a friendship thing, and it's always good to see those faces again.
No, that's super cool, man. Yeah, I can relate to that, man. It's kind of like I was talking about it last week about going to ICAST. It's that one time a year you get to see some faces that you may only see down there. So it's kind of a similar setup, man. It's super cool. But yeah, I mean, how cool is it to just go and represent your country and what you love to do? And I know it's mostly for fun when you guys go out there for the most part, but it's still competitive, right? And not only that, but you get to see some cool parts of the world when you go to these things.
Yeah, that's the coolest part. I've never, like, not even this one being my third one. It's like when you fish, like like what we do, the bass fishing here, and you make a championship, or you're in a big tournament. You can have a tendency I can to feel the pressure, maybe, especially if you're doing well. And I've done well in the two previous ones I've went to, but I've never felt any kind of pressure. I think just because it is such a good time, And now I'm sure if you're up there in that top 2, 3, 4 spots and you're on the last day, you might be some pressure then, but every time I go to one, it's for a fish I've never fished for. So, I'm just out there. I'm just out there having fun, So I need a bass fishing one. Maybe next year that we'll go somewhere where they got some bass. That'd be awesome.
Heck yeah. What's the species you guys are chasing out there? Like northern pike and perch or something?
That's it.
That's like 2 big species out there for sure.
Yeah, pike and perch. That's the 2 pike per day and 3 perch per day. So we get 2 official days of practice, and then it's 3 days of competition. So they're saying that the perch will be the if you can get on the perch bite, you'll do well. Mm-hmm. I think they're expecting a lot of people to catch pike. I know that's how the last one that was over there was. The perch seemed to be a little bit stingy. This is their summer over there that we're going to. We've been looking at the weather. The weather's looking like the highs are going to be in the low 70s. The lows will be in the low 50s. So nice. Just that, and that's their summer. That's their temps for the summer. Because everything freezes over. The lake we're fishing freezes solid. So the last time they were there was right after the lake had thawed out. The ice had just got gone. So I think they were in May, so now we're going over there in August. So it's going to fish probably a little different than it did in May when the last time that some of these guys was over there. Fish might be a little deeper. Who knows? Might be. I mean, they may be shallow. You know, I ain't got a clue. I'm just gonna go over and throw just about everything I take, and hopefully I'll not hit one in the head or two.
we got a great question on YouTube. Andy Leonard is asking, do they furnish all the tackle and rods for you guys to use?
So they do furnish our boats. Every Hobie kayak that we fish out of, and this year we're actually fishing out of the 360. So everybody will be in a Hobie 360. They're all rigged identical. They'll have Rance graphs, power poles. I think the Nokia batteries, I believe, is what's in them. RAM mounts for all our camera gear that we want to take. If you want to take GoPro, they'll have those mounts for you. So every boat is rigged identical.
Nice.
But when it comes to your tackle, that's up to you to get your rods there, your reels, your baits that you're going to be using. There's always, everywhere that we've been in the past, there's always local tackle shops real close. Supposedly there is a fantastic tackle shop right there where we're having the event. But I'm taking stuff. I'm taking 4 rods. They're all 2-piece rods because the airlines, man, they hammer you with trying to get rods.
I was just gonna ask you that.
Man,
I've been through that so much. I made a decision to go to 2-piecers anytime I'm gonna fly.
Yeah,
anytime.
I actually went and bought 2. Luckily, I live here just, on coastal Georgia and Richmond Hill, and Savannah, Georgia's just, Bass Pro in Savannah's not far from me, but 25 minutes. And so they've got some of the saltwater stuff, and they've got some 2-piece rods. So I was able to get a couple 2-piece rods that were heavy enough for the Pike. And then I already had some 2-piece 7-foot rods that I used when I went to Australia for those. We're fishing for yellowfin brim over there, so those rods are going to work perfectly for these perch. But I was able to get 4 rods in a rod tube, and I've got it down as small as it can get, because if it's over like 65 linear inches or something like that, they charge you like an arm and leg. Jay Wallen, he was actually made a post in our we've got a group thread, and I think they were wanting to charge him like $600 to fly his rods over there because it was an oversized length or something, and he's got his down right now. But now when I went to Louisiana the first time that I fished Hobie Worlds in 6, I actually shipped my rods down there to UPS, and I paid like $300 and something to ship them down there and back. And but I've got it. I think I'm going to be able to just, which I know I will, because I've got one of the smaller rod tubes. I did it when I went to Australia. It'll cost me $100 because it counts as an extra bag. They're going to check it, so I'll have to pay $100 each way. Plus, I've got an extra suitcase. That's $100 each way. And then my wife's going with me, so my ticket and her ticket, each one of those is like $1,300 a piece. So it's expensive, man. These world trips are not cheap. But they're worth it, really and truly are worth it if you get a chance to go. Anybody that's listening and watching it, if you get a chance to go and you qualify, you do not want to miss it. Don't give it up. Do what, if you've got to do some kind of fundraisers to come up with the money to make one of these trips, it is so worth it. You'll never forget it if you get a chance to go. So please do it if you get that shot, because it is such an amazing tournament.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember the last one in Australia, listening to Obadi Williams talk about it, because that was the year he went, and he's like, man, I almost didn't go, and I'm so glad I did. And, he just talked about how great of a time it was, and, his memories that were going to last a lifetime. And that's so cool.
And it's not only are you meeting, people, from other countries for the first time, like, that was the first time I'd ever met him. We had a blast.
Right.
It was awesome. And I've not seen him since that tournament, but we had such a good time, and you felt like we'd have known him my whole life, So, and because everybody's so excited, to be there, and it's the other thing. It's really cool, man. Like Felix Frey, one of the guys from over in Sweden, he's already posting on the Hobie. We have a Facebook page, with all the competitors. He's bringing extra rods and reels for guys. These guys, cool. they're loaning out their tackle, they're loaning out rods, reels, so, and it's that way at everyone I've ever been to. Everybody's always real helpful about, lures and tackle. And if you need something or you break something, they're willing to give up part of their stuff to help you out. So yeah, it's a good time, man.
Right on. We got another cool question that came in from D. Andrew Watson. He says, what's the average length of a competitive size pike and perch over there?
So their measurements are, they're in like centimeters and meters, and their temps is Celsius and all this stuff. So it's I think so would it be 100? That wouldn't be centimeters, would it? It's so centimeter. That'd be. I can't. I just know that they talk about meters and man, I don't want to misspeak because, like I said, I'm not I'm not up to date on all that. But I know, like, we're talking about pike that's like 3.5, 4 foot long.
Yeah.
Big ones.
The thing about the pike out there is that pike grow as big as muskies out there.
Yes.
So your trophy pike is going to be 50, 54 inches.
Yeah.
So a trophy pike out here, in the States is like 40 inches.
Okay.
That's usually, you can call that a trophy.
45 up north.
Yes. So anything past that, so that's the difference. And pike are crazy voracious, so they're going to bite anything. That's on the menu that day. They'll hit it, and they'll hit it hard, and they'll hit it again and again.
So from the information that I've gathered, I think they're really aggressive right after the lake unthaws because the water's warming up, and of course they're wanting to move to the shallows to spawn. This tournament, is probably a couple months, I'd say, after the spawn, maybe a month. So I don't know if these fish. I know pike are territorial. If they live in an area, if they're shallow, they're in that. Like, you could have one follow a bait and don't take it. You can go back to that area an hour or 2 hours later. He's going to be there. So from all the information that I've gathered.
Oh yeah, and figure eighting works for him too.
See, again, stuff I've never done. I'm going to look like an idiot out there in that boat.
Dude, you know what? I know a guy who knows a little bit something about pike. So they're not that hard to catch.
So I'm going to, dude. I'm taking some stuff, man. Like if I'm hoping these fish have never seen some of this stuff, and they like, oh, that looks good, So, but I know I'm not the only one. It's going to be a good time, But they say the perch is going to be the thing. That's going to be if you can find the perch, they say you'll do well.
Yeah.
But I've heard these pike and perch being 100 foot deep, 60 foot deep, 80 foot deep. I think there's parts of this lake that's 200-300 foot.
Oh wow.
So it's a big body of water, dude. It's the largest lake in Sweden, largest freshwater lake in Sweden.
Is it a glacial lake?
That I couldn't tell you. It's the third largest freshwater lake in all of Europe. I know that too. So it's big. Like, I was looking at it on Google Earth, and I was like, "Oh man, this side over here looks good. How far is that?" Oh, that's 14 miles from here. Let's just scratch that off. But I know there'll be some guys that do it. I mean, there's some the European guys, man. Those guys, because they fish out of these kayak all the time religiously. It's all they do, and they go a long way. A lot of the Aussie guys, same way. They pedal a long way. When we was in Australia, you can't keep up with them. You can't. Like, I don't care who you are. You're not keeping up with some of those guys pedaling. I've never seen a Hobie pro angler move that fast. Not with my 300-pound butt in it anyway, unless I got a torpedo pushing me. And I don't know if I could keep up with them in a Torpedo. I mean, they move, dude. So I'm not racing nowhere. I'll go sweet and slow, and whatever happens.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing on Google Earth, and it is massive.
Yeah, it's a massive body of water, man. But the weather's looking fantastic so far for us over there. So hopefully it stays that way. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. I'm sure we'll all we'll do well. I expect Christine to do well. With her musky background and Pike background that she does, and she's on a tear anyway. She's such a good angler. So I think she'll do well over there with the Pike, and hopefully whoever if we've got somebody in contention, maybe between all 9 of us that are going, we can help the other person out, help them locate some fish if we got somebody in contention, towards the end.
So, yeah. There's that lake on the screen. It reminds me a lot of Lake Superior, the shape of it. Almost.
So it's Varnur. I think it's the name of the lake. Vernon.
Maybe.
You need to go over go to your left. Go to your left. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Now you can see how big it is. It's big, man. And we're fishing in that northwestern corner. So if you go up, a mall is right up in that northern left side. It'd be
by Grum's there and Carlstad.
Yeah, it's but that's what I was saying. Like, I was looking at that other side of that lake. I said, "Ooh, it looks good over here." And then I pulled my little ruler across it, and I was like, "Yeah, it's too far to go. I can't even see 14 miles in one direction."
Brian, all you got to do is shrink the lake, dude. Shrink the lake,
dude. That's what I do now, man. I don't try to go too far no more. Yeah. I'm not no spring chicken. I'm next year I'll be 50-year-old. So it's I've slowed down a lot.
You got to find those resident bass that ain't leaving the area ever.
Yeah, that's right.
Like it. Good stuff, man. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some high school kayak fishing, which is super cool, man. This has been going on for what, 2-3 years now, maybe?
Yeah, Freddie Garza did such an amazing job getting this thing started, with the Student Angler Federation, and you got TBF and Student Angler Federation, which is the SAF. They're the governing body, which both of those are under the umbrella of Major League Fishing. So BASS has their high school stuff, and and then Student Angler Federation has theirs. It's 2 separate twirls, but one's Major League Fishing, one's BASS. So he got Student Angler Federation is in 48 states. It's and they fish out of the bass boats. All the high schools. Like the state of Georgia where we're at, we're Georgia High School Sports Association. So GHSA is all of our all high school sports here in Georgia, whether it be baseball, football, basketball. But we started to have our fishing team that we started last year, and I helped start that here in Richmond Hill, and I'm one of the coaches for our high school fishing team. And so we're fishing the GHSA stuff, which it's sanctioned for Student Angler Federation, and but Freddie, worked with those guys back. It's probably been about 4 or 5 years ago now, to get it kind of going. 4 years maybe. Georgia is the only state that is sanctioned with Student Angler Federation for high school kayak fishing. That's cool. Like I said, 48 states have the boat side, but nobody had done the kayak side. And he worked with those guys, to explaining, kind of what we do. It's because, not everybody understands, catch, photo, release type stuff. And, how do you do a tournament out of a kayak? And so once they understood it, they was able to get it sanctioned. They did a fantastic job. And then this year, I know, Freddie, he works a full-time job, and David over at Coyote Outfitters, he was helping Freddie run some stuff as well. And he'd been working with Freddie in the beginning from this too. And, they're just like everybody else. Work is, crazy for everybody. There's never enough hours in the day to get everything done. And I know their work had picked up in business, and I think they were kind of struggling to be able to stay on top of the trail and the tournaments and stuff. And I ran 2 tournaments for them this year down here in Southeast Georgia, and they went really, really well. And toward the end of the season, Freddie asked me if I had interest in taking over as the state director for Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association, and thought about it for a little bit because I'm quite busy, but my son started fishing it last year in the kayak, and then this year was his first year fishing GHSA with the high school, and he's already fished 14 tournaments this year between boats and kayaks, and has been on a tear. I mean, they have done so good, him and his partner Jackson, and I'm so proud of them. Our whole team, I'm so proud of them. And the more I thought about it, I knew that I knew I could bring some good stuff to the trail. Get some good sponsors, for these kids to have a really good trail they'd be proud of. And so talked to the wife about it and decided that, I should do it and take it over. And so for the past couple months, that's what I've been working on. I was at ICAST, here, a couple weeks ago, and working sponsors down there, my normal stuff that I have to do, for my fishing. But then I spent one full day. Actually, the first day I cast nothing but Georgia High School kayak fishing, and it was awesome. Everybody's so welcoming and warming to the trail and what we're building. We're going. I'm talking with some other anglers from across the country that have shown some interest in starting a sanctioned trail in their state, because Student Angler Federation, they want to have a national championship and a world finals for high school kayak fishing when we get to that point. Will they do it if there's only just a few states doing it? Probably not, just because it's a big deal, man. When they have their national championship and world finals with the boat, like we fished it like 2 months ago, it was in June. We were on Pickwick Lake, and there was 416 boats in that tournament. Whew. So you can, and these people, they come from all over globally. There was kids from, I think there was a team from Hawaii there. I think there was some South Africa, I think, had a team. I mean, it was awesome to see that many kids come in, and they want to do that for the kayak too. We just got to get to that point, and so this is kind of I'm still going to tournament fish because I love it. I mean, I love getting out there, but I'm kind of at the point where I hate the traveling, Sure. But all year with as many events as my son has done, and him and his partner, because they both fish the boats and the kayak thing together. And then, I'm help coach our high school team and watching all of our kids do it. And it's just, man, it's re-energized me so much to be out there with those kids and to see, how much they love it. It really reminds you why you started fishing, in the first place. And these kids, man, it's so awesome to see them out there competing. And like, I mean, I'll use this for an example. Like when our team just started this past season, one of the first meetings we had in the classroom, these kids that they don't sit beside each other. It's high school kids. They sit one set here, like nobody's going to sit beside each other unless they know them and they're good buddies. So not talking to each other. And then we had some like team building things, leading up to the first events, and they were still, they just how high school boys are. And they just, they're not going to go out of their way to start a conversation. Dude, by the end of this year, man, I got a picture of these high school boys. We had a cookout here at the end of the season at the house, and we had competitions of flipping,
Sure.
flipping and pitching. And man, these kids, it come up a storm, and they're out there throwing frisbee, trying to knock a bottle off the top of a stick, and it's pouring down rain, and they ain't got nothing on but their daggum shorts and no shoes or nothing, just drenched, soaking wet. And it was I mean, and I got pictures of them flexing and stuff. So I mean, how far they came, in such a short period of time. It builds those friendships, and and that's all I could think about is, if them giving more kids that opportunity to do this type of stuff. And I'd love to have had it when I was a kid, because we didn't have this type of stuff. And so, right. Yeah, I jumped at the chance to work, work with, the association, and now take over as state director. It's going to be, we're going to build something special for these kids for sure. And I'm going to help anybody that's willing to do it in other states. That's kind of that's my future in fishing is for our youth. It's always been a big passion of mine anyway. So I'll be around doing it for a long time.
No, it's exciting to see. I mean, I know, like, I've said the same thing as you, man. I wish they would have had this when I was a kid. I'd have a lot different path in life, I think. But not that I go back and change it, but it would have been pretty darn cool to have that as a kid. But I mean, I've seen it around here, like the high school bass teams are becoming more and more popular, and the local high school here is actually looking for a coach. And like, I'm like, man, can I fit it in? Like, that's the biggest thing with me is I don't want to commit to it and then epically let those kids down, because I got so many other things like podcasts and job and stuff like that going on, so it's just like, it's tough, but man, it's so cool to see this big boom in the youth getting back out fishing. You know what I mean? There's hope.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're the future for sure, and I look back at this. I've been in this plastic boat since 2013, and never thought I'd be fishing out a plastic boat, but hey, that's here we are, 10, 11 years later. And it's I love it. I still have a huge passion for it myself, but these kids, man, I'm just telling you, if you just go to one event and you watch these kids fish and see how excited they are, it's an awesome deal. It could be, if one person doesn't have enough time, if you could get 2 people or 3 people that's willing to split up the time, to whether it be the coach or mentor, or be a chaperone. If you got a boat, they're always needing boat captains to take a boat team out.
Yeah.
That was one of the hurdles that we dealt with, with our high school team, and all high school teams deal with it, unless you're in Tennessee, Alabama, everybody's got a bass boat.
Sure.
They're down here in coastal Georgia where we're at. And there's a lot of people that have offshore boats, or they have skiffs, or the small bay boats type stuff. And I bought a boat last year. I bought a bay boat, but I bought an Express H22B that fishes like a bass boat. I wanted something that had dual purpose, for the family, nice. But also, bass boat fish out of. And it's been awesome, and we averaged, I think, 3 boat teams per tournament this year with Student Angler Federation. Each high school can bring 6 teams. Which those are 2-man teams, 2 angler teams, because we do have girls a lot. This is co-ed, which is awesome. So you can bring 6 boats for a GHSA event, Student Angler Federation, but on the kayaks, it's unlimited. So getting these high schools that already have high school teams established, and if they're already fishing the Student Angler Federation sanctioned boat tournaments, they don't have to buy another registration. They're good to fish the kayak stuff. So cool. you're unlimited on how many. If you got 50 kids that want to come out and fish, bring them on. So it's such an awesome thing, and it's growing. It's like anything; it takes time, to establish it. But we get this going in some other states. It's just, you got to start somewhere.
Hey, so I was going to ask a question. Like, so as far as joining these teams, are there any requirements of the kids, like a marine biology class or some kind of conservation?
No,
No?
it's just like it is an official school sport, especially if they're
Mhm.
already sanctioned through their high school and they have an actual high school team. But let's say, and this is how we run it here, and other states we've set, everything in place here in Georgia. So we've worked on the rules. We've got everything dialed in. So other states, all they do have to follow, because we're all going by the same set of rules. So say you have an angler, a young angler, high school or even middle school, that wants to fish this high school stuff, but say their school doesn't have a high school team. So we have a state roster, and if that student wants to fish the kayak stuff, all they have to do is get their Student Angler Federation membership. We put them on the state roster, and they can come and fish the tournaments and still represent their school. But by getting their Student Angler Federation membership, that puts them under the insurance umbrella for all of Student Angler Federation. So there, and then now we're just talking high school there, but say middle schoolers. Say you got a fifth grader, a sixth grader, seventh, eighth grader. If they want to come and fish, they also can come and fish under the TBF, and they have a junior angler membership. So they can actually come and fish the high school kayak fish tournaments, but they fish as a junior angler. Now they won't be able to qualify and try to go fish the national championship, because that is high school fishing, and that is, you do have to fish out of a boat for that.
Sure.
But the Student Angler Federation actually give us one spot right now. If our numbers keep growing, we'll get a second spot. But right now they give us one spot for the top team for the whole entire year, because we have a points system. The top team actually gets to go and fish the national championship, but you have to fish out of the boat. And the national championship runs the same time that the world finals runs, and that's a free tournament. There's no entry fees in that tournament, those boat tournaments. But those two tournaments run together. You get to use your fish for both tournaments. And my son and his partner actually were the top finishing team this year. And they got to fish in the national championship from the boat side. So
that's cool.
It's such an awesome deal, man. But we're not turning any kids away. If it's fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, if they want to come and fish our stuff, they absolutely can come and fish it. You have to have a chaperone, and we allow one adult can chaperone up to two anglers. If there's a third one, we're doing it on a case by case basis. Whether we're going to allow them to chaperone more than two. Your head's on a swivel with two.
Sure.
Anyway, you got to be within line of sight and within reasonable distance in case there was some kind of emergency or something, because it's all about safety. But if somebody had a third one and they like, hey, can we do three at this event? More like we're going to say, yeah. We want these kids fishing. I try, like the two tournaments that I ran this past year, I had some buddies that actually come out and volunteered their time just to be safety boats out there.
That's cool.
And that was awesome. So we try to do that. You can't always have extra boats, but sometimes you can, and it's always a good time. At the end of the day, the ones that have come out and volunteered their time, they're like, okay, this was awesome. And
super cool.
They get to see some of these kids how much talent they actually do have. So it's been amazing so far.
Heck yeah. So Kathy Pauley's asking on Facebook, what about homeschool kids? Does it have to be like a public school? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, if you're homeschooled and you want to come and fish, they absolutely can come and fish. If she's from Georgia, this is Georgia. We're the only one that actually has this now. But if she has a student and they're in Georgia, tell her that she can get in touch with me. We have a Facebook page. It's Georgia High School Kayak Fishing. There's actually 2 Facebook pages. One is Georgia High School Kayak Fishing Association. That's the old page. It's going to go away here pretty soon. The new one, you'll just look for the our new logo. It's got the G with the fish hook on it in the G. And that is the new Facebook page. But she can get in touch with me, and I'll help her get everything set up for the fish. But no, you do not have to go to public school. It's for our youth. We want as many out there fishing as possible.
Awesome, man. How many schools right now are involved in the kayak end of things?
So there's probably 4 or 5 right now in the state of Georgia that I know of right off the top of my head. I was on the phone with a lady today that's got several schools that have shown interest as well. We've got some more schools down here in our area that's shown. So the biggest thing is just letting people know that we exist. That's the hurdle, That's always the hardest part, is letting everybody know what you're doing. And a lot of these high schools, they already have fishing teams, and if they've already got a fishing team and they're established with Student Angler Federation, it's easy. But if they don't, it's still easy. We do require all the kids to take an online a safety course about kayak fishing and how it's a safety course. We do require that. But we also, we require, chaperones. You got to have your chaperones. So it's all about safety.
No, that's smart. I mean, we all know that, kayak fishing's fun, but there are moments where you put your life in your hands, or Mother Nature gets you, or gets the best of you, and you don't know how what the outcome's going to be sometimes. So it's super dangerous. People don't realize that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I see you're scrolling through. That's my boy right there. He had a good year with those. Clint Henderson's boys was right before that, and they actually won the top team 2 years ago, and so they got to fish in the national championship 1 year as well. So it's we're building something really good here in Georgia, and we're going to get other states involved in this because it is. Heck, we all do it. We love it, and these kids, man, if you get out there with these kids and get them doing it, it's so rewarding. I love these kids. I truly do. Like, I love seeing them. I love seeing them at the events. I love, just hanging out with them because they're so excited, to be out there and doing it. And it's just an awesome time.
No, I mean, just to see the pure excitement and joy on their face, I'm sure that's rewarding in itself, and not only that, but seeing them learn the lessons of defeat and picking themselves back up and getting back out there and doing it again, man. That's huge, especially for kids to learn that at that age. You know what I mean? And to have that determination.
And Hobie started their collegiate trail this year. So now that we have, collegiate high school fishing, these colleges are offering scholarships to these, high school anglers to come and fish out of a kayak. Well, a lot of them right now were, they were doing the boat thing, and they're jumping in kayaks, or maybe they don't want to jump in kayaks. Well, we've got some kids that are up and comers that these colleges are going to want.
That's huge.
We've got some talent, so, and that's the thing, if you got high school teams already and you got colleges are giving scholarships for the boat side, we're going to do it. We're doing it for kayaks now.
Yeah.
I've spoken with 3 different colleges over the last several months that will be watching closely the state of Georgia this upcoming year and next year. And so you're going to see some kids over the next few years, from this state, doing this on the collegiate level, and hopefully, other states. We just got, like I said, get the right guys involved, I'm not going to call some of these guys out I've spoke to because I don't want to put them on the spot, but but I could, man. So if y'all are watching, boy, I could get you right now, but I ain't gonna do it. But they're both probably laughing right now too because they know they're very close friends of mine, and I love these two guys dearly. So, and they would be fantastic state directors. So. It's going to happen. We're going to happen. I was on the phone with Joey over at Student Angler Federation Day, Joey Bray, and he's excited about what we're doing here. He's excited that we're already talking to some other states. But for anybody that's watching, or listening, if you're interested in starting this in your state, get in touch with me. It's because we just want to get more states doing it and get more kids fishing.
Amen to that, man. I dropped the link to the Georgia high school kayak fishing page down in the chat, guys. And if you're listening on the podcast later, you get down in the show notes. Just give them a like. I mean, just liking that page, I'm sure helps you guys out, as far as exposure goes, and people going and looking at what you guys are doing and the attraction that it's bringing. It's only going to help it grow.
That's right. It takes that, and everything takes time. We're not expecting it to just do leaps and bounds,
sure,
right out of the gate. But it couldn't be going no better right now. So we're very, very fortunate, very, very lucky. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's going to be a busy year. But I've still got several months before we, to get everything in place for us in the state. And it's not too late for anybody because we're actually not even going to start any of our tournaments until 2023. That gives kids are just now getting back in school. Coaches are trying to get everything going. It gives you time to get it established, get set up, do some fundraisers if you need to, because it's fishing, everything's expensive, so it's given us enough time to be able to get some other schools involved. Probably 2024, we're going to have, we'll probably split our season into fall and spring.
Cool.
I'd love to do, say, 3 tournaments in the fall, have one in September, one in October, and one in November, because, the fall of the season can be good fishing, in parts of the country. And most of your trails are already done, so you got a little bit more free time, but you also got, kids that can't fish in the spring, but maybe they can fish in the fall. So do 3 tournaments in the fall, and then maybe do 3 tournaments in the spring for a 6 tournament year. The way ours works, if you fish at least 3, you automatically qualify for the state championship. Cool. This year we will have a 2-day state championship here in Georgia. I want these kids to understand what a multiple day tournament is like, to be able to manage their fish, because I want to make them. It's not just about being out there fishing. I want to make them better fishermen. Yeah. So giving them a chance to have a multiple day tournament, learn how to manage fish. And we're there to help them too, even though, I've got kids fishing and other coaches have kids fishing. We work with these kids, if they've got a question, we're helping them on the water. We want to see them all catch fish. So, awesome. It's all about making them, getting them better for their next step.
Well, it's huge. It opens a door, being able to go in a kayak versus a boat. Like, it's the same thing up here you were talking about. Like, there's, sure, if you're in Tennessee, Alabama, one of those states, everybody's got a bass boat, but like up here, up north, like it's the same situation. So I know there was a few high school teams that like struggled because they couldn't find enough boats for these kids. And it's unfortunate. Whereas like that kayak option is way more obtainable, money wise, for a parent or a student, and allow them to be competitive in fishing at that level. And then, like you're talking about, man, like the opportunities that could open up to some of these kids fishing to get scholarships because of that collegiate level. so huge, man. And
yeah,
I'm dealing with that right now. My daughter, we're dropping her off this weekend at college, and if it wasn't for her scholarship, she wouldn't be going to college. You know what I mean? Like, it's so expensive. But
yeah,
the fact that she got some credit for not only academics but her sports as well. It's like that's such a huge thing. And a great opportunity for kids that have that opportunity to get a chance to get a break, to get into a good school at an affordable price. Like I know guys that went to school for 4 or 5 years and like are just now paying off their student loans, which is nuts.
Yeah. It's we don't want any kids to be left out, and not everybody has access to boats or can afford a boat. But a kayak, you can make that happen. You can get some really good deals on a plastic boat, a used one. Just get out there. And I got kids fishing out of, not expensive boats. I mean, just a few $100s. And then we got kids fishing out really nice boats, several $1,000s, so it's just like us with what we do, as long as we just want you fishing. They're all made out of plastic. So it don't matter. All made out of plastic. And we try to fish some good lakes, here in Georgia. We are cutting our state into north and south this year. So we'll have 5 tournaments on the northern side, 5 tournaments on the southern side. And kids can fish both divisions if they want. You only got to fish at least 3 to make the state championship. And then, we also have an Angler of the Year race. And then we have our top team race, which is the top team state champions as well. And so there's a lot going on with us. And, main thing is just to get one started in the state. And get it going. And then if somebody else is in another part of the state, and you can split it up and, have north, south, east, west, whatever, central, and then bring them all together for a state championship. It just keep everybody from having to travel so far.
And it's funny because I just drove through Georgia twice going to ICAST, and you don't realize how big Georgia is till you drive from north to south.
It's long. Yep, it's long. And down here, I used to live in Tennessee. We've been down here on coastal Georgia for 7 years in November. But when I lived in Middle Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, Mount Juliet area, dude, I was right in the middle of everything. Like I could go to this tournament, that tournament. It's just a few hours. Guntersville, Kentucky, it don't matter. It was easy. And now I'm stuck down here in this little bitty corner of Georgia, and everywhere I go is a long way. Everywhere I go, so I miss that Tennessee area. I'm surprised that somebody in Tennessee hadn't already jumped on with this because they have such a big footprint with kayak fishing. With Chad being there and with KBF and all that, so I expect those guys to come on strong anytime. I think Alabama's going to come on strong. We've got some, like I said, if we get a couple more states going, and that's just going to give us more exposure for these kids. And then it'll keep building from there. It's not hard, man. I mean, it's not hard to run this stuff and set these tournaments up. And, they have their chaperones. It's actually very, very easy. But it does take a little bit of time, to work with the schedule, and, you got to be there for the got to check the fish, do all check the photographs and the awards and stuff. So there's some time that it does take, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. And if you got a kid that's interested, get them doing it. And if you ain't got a kid, find somebody else's kid. Take somebody. I mean, I can promise you
with permission.
Yeah. Don't snatch them up in the middle of the night. But
why is he duct taped to the kayak?
You're going fishing. But there's a lot of kids that would love to be out there doing this, and it's not hard to find some. Like I said, our high school, when we just started our fishing program last year, it took a little bit of convincing to make them understand why having a kayak team was so important. and we averaged 3 bass boats per tournament this year on the boat side. But I think we averaged like 9 or 10 per kayak tournament. We tripled it.
That's awesome.
And I told them we would. And I told them that number will continue to grow.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like kayak fishing is still not as big as it probably should be.
Oh, it should be massive.
Oh,
for these
yeah.
kids,
I mean,
it should be massive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and but again, I think it's just because a lot of people they don't know about it or they just don't understand it. Yep. You know, and I think it's probably more they don't understand it as much as anything. You know,
the education just isn't there. I mean, how many times have you gone to the ramp in your boat and you put it all up, and then all of a sudden a boater comes by and he's like, "Oh my God, look at that thing!" You know, and they're just in awe of everything. They're like, it's so portable. You know?
I've got some parents that are down here in our area that this year, like at the tournaments and stuff, they that's all they talk about, how much fun this was, how much fun it is to you know, because it's a lot of work. You're out there on the water, you know, and you're not fishing for 8 hours and you're in the boat. Tough. Dang, man, it's just rough, dude. And, you know, but, you know, as a coach or as a dad or a parent, you know, you're still trying to coach them and help them. But yeah, it makes a long day. But, you know, they're watching the leaderboard and the parents are, and they're so excited. And I mean, like they come back at the end of the day and they're like, this was so much fun. I had no idea that it would be this much fun, because it's intense, you know. Especially, you know, when they're catching fish and you know that, okay, hey, they got a shot to win or a shot, you know, to get a plaque, which we gave plaques for first, second, third, and big fish at every tournament this year, and prize packs and stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's these kids there. They have a blast. The parents are enjoying it, you know, and it's a good time. You make a day of it, you know. And if now that we're going to have, you know, 2 different divisions, keep people a little bit closer to home. Maybe you don't have to do as many overnights, but it's a lot of fun.
So we got Travis Randall in the chat, says, how do I get involved? So I just dropped the Georgia High School kayak fishing page again, which Ron will get a message there. But like, whether you're a high school kid looking to get involved in Georgia or in another state, and how do they get that started, and or a parent or a potential, you know, high school bass coach that may be listening, like how do they get that, you know, ball rolling in their state?
Yeah, just tell them just to definitely message me. I'm easy to find on Facebook, and it's just Ron Champion. Or I've got Ron Champion Professional Angler. They can find me there too, or message me through the Georgia High School Facebook page, and I will answer it. The one thing, just I want to let everybody know that I am fixing to leave this country for about 10 days. So if I don't respond, you know, immediately, just know that I'm gone. But I will get back, and I will respond to you. And on our Facebook page, our email address is right there. They can also send an email. But if they are in Georgia, it's going to be very simple. But if they're in a different state, you know, and we got to get it established in that state. So that's finding, you know, an adult that's willing to put forth the time. And, you know, it has to be the right adult too. You know, we don't want, you know, somebody to say, oh, I'm going to do this, and we get started, and then, you know, midway through the season, they're like, oh, I don't have time no more. You know, it's got to be the right person that's willing to put forth the time to truly build this trail the right way in your state, because you know, you got to have a passion for the kids, and if you have a passion for fishing, you know, that's a plus. But you don't have to. If you just got a passion for helping our youth, you know, it's hey, we got something that you can work with.
Andy Leonard's asking, do you guys use Fishing Chaos or Tourney X to keep up with fish measurements, like if you wanted to watch from home or something like that?
We use the best system out there, Tourney X.
Boom! I know Dwayne was in the chat earlier. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Good job, Ron. Good job.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. You got a little something on your nose.
I love Dwayne. Dwayne's actually coming to Sweden with us because Tourney X, we're using Tourney X over there for the Hobie Worlds, and
that's awesome.
So I'll get to hang out with Dwayne. I love Dwayne. I have a special friendship with Dwayne, but no, I love Tourney X. But I've been very vocal about how much I do like it. I know there's a few systems out there, and I've used Fishing Chaos, with the stuff, and I've had good times with it, and I've had bad times with it, So I've used, was it iAngler? We used to use that with Hobie.
Oh, yeah, with the Hobie.
Yeah, I've used it, and it's a good system as well, So, but I think Tourney X is the most user friendly out there.
I agree with that 100%.
And when you're dealing with high school kids,
easy is better.
User friendly is a plus, let me tell you, because that first tournament, dude, we had fish, and we went over all this. We had fish every which direction you could think of, and so it's Tourney X is awesome, and Dwayne's always there to help. So yeah, we use Tourney X.
Super cool, man. Super cool. We got Andrew Hayes from the Tackle Talk podcast is in the chat. He says, that's so cool. Gosh, we would have killed for that kind of opportunity as kids. You're going to make a huge impact on those kids and by starting them early. And amen to that, man. Like, that's exactly what comes to mind just after, listening to everything you've worked at to help these kids out, man. It's just going to be a huge opportunity for them.
Man, I've coached a lot of different things, sports and stuff, and, basketball and softball, baseball, football, soccer. We've done it. All my wife coaches, a basketball team, my daughter, and I've helped her. And so I've coached a lot of stuff, but getting a chance to coach, fishing, it's just so awesome. Because I love it, man. That's my passion is fishing. I mean, I love all sports, but I love fishing, and these kids are they're different. I don't know, and I haven't really figured it out what the difference is with these. You've got kids that love other sports and stuff, and and you got kids that they're the travel ball and they're always going and this and that, but we're hitting the demographic. There's our kids that do all that sports that also love fishing too, and hunting. But we're hitting a different group of kids and giving them a chance to do a school sport with fishing, because not all kids are athletic or have that desire to do football or track.
Ron's phone might have died.
Yeah, no kidding. I actually forgot to plug mine in, and I finally did.
He was on a tear there too, man. Oh,
yeah,
that's a bummer. It's a bummer, but
yeah,
dude, it's so incredible, man. And like like we were talking, like Andrew said, it's like what a cool opportunity. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
We thought your phone died or something, man.
No, I made sure it was charged.
It was the white button.
So, but I think I know where I was at. So I was talking about the demographic of the kids that we're actually hitting. And I apologize for whatever just happened. So we're actually hitting a group of kids that, didn't have a chance to whether play a sport, or maybe they's like, okay, me getting a chance to fish and to go to college on a scholarship or something, it's just not, it's not going to happen for me. Well, now we're hitting a group of kids that that chance is happening for them. And that's awesome to me, is to see some of the kids that are doing this now that wouldn't, not really into the other sports. So, it's awesome.
That's huge, man. That is so huge. Man, brother, we've been going for a little over an hour. I know you got many things to get accomplished as you get to embark your way over to Sweden and catch some giant pike and perch and mingle with everybody attending the Hobie Worlds, man. So we won't keep you much longer. But why don't you plug socials and like how again like the Georgia High School Kayak Anglers page and all that stuff, man.
Yeah, so our Facebook page, for the high school thing is Georgia High School Kayak Fishing. Just look for the G with the fish hook on it. That we have a new logo, new Facebook page. You can message me and get in touch with me if you're interested in getting getting this started in another state. But if you're in Georgia, definitely message me on there. But you can also find me on through my regular Facebook page, Ron Champion or Ron Champion Fishing on Instagram. I'm not hard to find. I appreciate the chance to come on and talk, about the high school fishing. And then once we get closer, maybe you guys, have me back and
Anytime,
we'll talk about. I appreciate that. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll get some scheduling out, and it's good. It's good for our sports, good for our kids, and anytime I get a chance to talk about, the youth programs and stuff, I jump at it, and I appreciate y'all being patient with me, getting me on here. I know we've been talking about this for a few weeks, and
no, dude.
I was on vacation, and then we had iCast, and glad we squeezed this in before I hit the road again. So
it's that thing called life, Sometimes it gets in the way, bro.
Yeah, and then you gotta make that family time, So it's a juggling act over here at the Champion home. I promise you, we got a lot going on, but it's I feel blessed to have a chance to do this. So very fortunate.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Door is always open for you, my friend. Just keep us up to date, man. Let us know when you're ready to come back and break some schedule news and stuff like that. Of course, my man Scott Butcher's in the chat. Can the kids give Brian any tips? I'm sure they could. Thank you, Scott. But no, man. Super looking forward to seeing this thing grow, not only in the state of Georgia, but the rest of the nation, man. Like, how cool is that there's an opportunity out there for it to grow nationwide and, just see more kids getting involved. And not only that, man, like the thing I keep thinking about is like, not everybody can get a boat, but they can get a kayak. And, not having those kids not being held back because of that, like is such a huge thing. Huge thing.
Yeah, so. And I mean, look how many people's willing to loan kayak out to a kid just to go fishing. I mean, so we can, like, if you're a kid and you want to go, I promise you, you get in touch with us, we'll find somebody that's got a boat and let you go fishing.
That's awesome. Awesome. Let's leave it at that. Randall, any final thoughts, man?
Ron, great talking to you, man. It's been a bit. But it's real cool what you're doing, man. This whole high school thing, like, I'd like to see this across the states. I mean, it's going to teach a lot. It's going to teach these kids how to fish. It's going to teach them about competition, camaraderie, conservation. I mean, there's a lot of things that are come with that. So,
I appreciate that.
It's a win-win.
I appreciate y'all giving me a platform to talk about it. So, thank y'all.
Anytime, brother. Anytime, Ron. Thank you, sir.
Y'all have a blessed evening,
you, brother. And one last question. This is a great question. This is probably the question of the night. Scott Butcher once again. How much longer till Little Champion beats Daddy Heads Up?
Well, I tell you what, when that happens, he'll be here to talk about it.
But until then,
until then, he's there, boy. He's getting good. It's so awesome. It's so awesome to watch. But hey, little sister's following up behind him too. So
that's awesome.
She's in middle school now. She started middle school this week. So I told my wife tonight, I said, you do know that she can start doing the kayak fishing now, right? And she's like, oh. So yeah. So yeah, she'll be on brother's tail for sure.
So you got two champions chasing you down.
Yeah.
Coming for Daddy's hardware.
Hey, buddy, I hope they take it. I hope they go a whole lot further than I ever thought about doing this. So, but it's at the end of the day, that's really not what it's about. You know, it's that I've said it time and time again. You can take all the trophies, you take all that stuff away. That's not what I ever started doing this for anyway. I do it just because I love it. I love to fish. You know, but I love teaching people fishing more than I do anything. So, yeah.
And it shows, man. It definitely shows.
Appreciate that.
Super cool, brother. All right, man. Guys, gals, thank you as always for tuning in. We're here every Thursday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. Love it. Ron, thank you again, sir. Jay, you're Jay.
Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all take care.
We'll see you guys next week. As always, tight lines, smooth paddling. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on Waypoint TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You can support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures, your Midwest premier paddle sports destination. Go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and fill your tackle boxes today.